Aloha, Flow Riders. Welcome this time to the Flow. Guys, I got to tell you, I will tell you all my mistakes when I have one. So, of course, I'm recording a lot of videos this week. And me and Katie were ready to go. We got the show kicking. Like, where's everybody at? I had left it in record mode. So we were just talking to ourselves. There's nothing going down.
It'll be a bonus. We'll release it as a bonus for all of you.
Yeah. I'm not even going to tell you the story that I told you because we got a lot of questions to get through. It was too funny. Anyway.
Oh, wait, though. We should say,
yes.
If you are hanging out with us live, so we're going to be answering all of the video questions that all of you sent in, ecam.tv/mailbag to send in your questions at any time. But if you have a question and you're here live with us, just put a Q: in front of it and we'll find those and do our best. We'll get through as many as we possibly can in this time.
Oh my God. It was, in a way, it was just absolutely perfect and a little bit funny. And I'm just laughing at myself because, well, that's all you can do. That is legit all you can do. Okay. So let's get ready to go to question one. So what we've been doing is we have been doing conversations around interviews. And then in the Mailbag episode, we were attempting to keep most of these sort of interview related. We do have some other ones that are just ECAM questions, but we'll answer those anyway. And this whole laboratory setup this month has been about getting better interviews. And we are going to do sorry, I knew that was coming. We're going to have a interview lab coming up very shortly as well, where you guys will get to practice and have a good time. But thank you guys for jumping in. And you know how we got to start out the Mailbag episode, right?
That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
It's so goofy. It is so goofy. All right, let me come over here to the question and answer section.
Doc. James here again. Just wondering whether you utilize SOPs, as in standard operating procedures, for your interviews and podcasting. So for setting up your cameras, audio, visual stuff. Just interested to know. But I'm in live demo mode for this, so I'm going to go take a break.
James. Fun fact, before we answer James's question, James was my stranger interview this week. So this past week, I did my stranger interview, and James and I are now friends, but we did not know each other and we had never done any kind of conversation before. So thank you so much to James for jumping on and doing an interview with me so we could practice. It was really fun.
I've got a question on the difference in bandwidth.
Oh my God. So that was just absolutely incredible, James. Let's just put it that way. I'm in demo mode. Do it all the time. I have recorded entire YouTube videos in demo mode and then, send out the fruity language. I got to do it all over again. Yesterday, I was making a video and I did the entire thing and it came out perfect on the first shot and I muted. The whole thing is muted. I was like, you listen. So yes. There is a standard operating procedure. And for me, it's real simple. I have the opening scene on many of my eCam workflows is a scene that's called checklist. And I just put that as the first scene. And it basically goes down, making sure that, things are in do not disturb and unmute. The problem I have with my do not disturb is I have, right now I'm in sleep mode. So this is probably overriding better than do not disturb. But in my do not disturb, I have an elderly parent. Okay. I have the other half. And then I have my teammates. So Katie, Jill, Caleb, Paul, so forth, etc. What happens recently is Jill pulled a Glenn. Glenn used to always send eCam updates whenever I'm live. And then last year we decided to be cool and hire Jill. And now Jill calls me whenever I'm live. It happened like 5 times and I just answered him. I answered him while I'm live. I'm like, hold on, everybody, look, Jill's calling. So this has happened so much lately. It's funny. So even though I have these kind of procedures, some things still happen and I'm just okay with it. Like, that's just me. I think it actually adds to the realness of the show. It has never been a terrible distraction. My niece will call me, and I know that my niece is like my kid. So she calls, I'm answering. I could be talking to Seth Godin. If Emma calls, I'm sorry, Seth, it's Emma. And he would probably understand. I think Katie would understand if I had to answer the phone for Emma because she would answer the phone for her kids. You just never, because you don't know what kind of stuff that they're into or what's happening. And I'm the uncle that removes, people and take them to the forest in case something happens to her. Allegedly. I better say that part.
Allegedly. Do you have in this profile an example of one of your scenes? Because it might be fun to show people.
I can drag it in from another. One thing that's cool about Ecamm is that you can actually drag things in. You have scenes set up in another scene. You can actually drag them into the current scene and make them work. So let me go grab it real quick. And here's my LGL one. And then I have a folder called scenes. I have this really incredible thing that I built, and it is called the, what do I call this thing? I call it the library, if you will. Here are mechanicals. And let's see. Of course, I probably don't have it on here. Just because I said that. Let me check another show. Let me check this one.
Paul is asking for you to show. Do you want to swing into live demo mode so we can see?
To show Paul's asking me to show
you
what?
How you grab it. Paula is asking you to show how you grab it.
Paula?
Yeah.
Okay.
Paula Marie?
Paula, yes. Paul, no.
The vetting process.
Yeah, there's a
Doc is
there's a vetting
that.
process to this.
I will say that. My answer is that I also have a standard operating procedure, but I actually don't have mine written down. I probably should and do what Doc does and add it kind of into my scenes. But for me, from an interviewing perspective, I would say the most important thing is making sure that I allot for time for us to do a tech check and make sure that I'm doing all of the correct things in a tech check. So I'm making sure that we do a quick recording, that everyone's audio sounds great, that the audio levels are correct, and make sure that all of the scenes look good. So I go a test run through my scenes to make sure that the video pops up where it needs to pop up and everything works and sounds great. And then I also use that time too to chat with my guests a little bit to make them feel comfortable, let them know what the run of show is, get them all ready for the actual interview. So yes, I think a standard operating procedure is a great thing to have. And the way that Doc does it is really smart because then it's just there every single time and actually as a way for people to be able to check it. So
all right, here we go. So, for some reason, Stream Deck is asleep. I'm afraid to unplug it and replug it while we're live. But then again, you know what? You only live 12 times. So I put that back in there. Come on, Stream Deck, wake your butt up because you're making my job harder. All right, so here's my little folder, and it has all myriad sorts of things. So if I were to go back, here's my library for Creators Unstuck. And in the library, I have things like animations, backgrounds, fonts, images, mechanicals, movies, PDFs, profiles, scenes, sound effects, music, and URLs, right? So all these things are built in. I keep our little special effects drop in there. You probably can't hear that because I'm the way I have my profile set up, but I have it all in here. So if I just go to scenes real quick and open, all you need to do is find the one that says checklist, and you can just drag it directly in, or you can double click it. And then if I click on checklist, there's the checklist, right? Do not disturb, turn off mute, turn off iCloud services, turn off live demo mode. James, check the sound levels to make sure that they are set to 80. Check the camera inputs, check white balance. You check your camera once every 3 to 4 months, it will drift. You don't have to do it as much on my Sony ZV-E1 because it's more of a pro camera, but especially cheaper cameras, you want to definitely do your white balance check. Run through your scenes, check the Stream Deck button, and check resolutions because sometimes I accidentally stream at the wrong size. And then check screen shares, presentations, video clips, clean your desktop. Yes, get rid of them. If you're like me, I don't normally have things on my desktop. Today I did put the mailbag questions there as an emergency, but I cannot stand icons on my desktop. So if you do have that problem, there is an app called Plim Pro, which will hide them all. And then snack, water, nature break. And then check your cleanliness just to make sure you don't have any adult toys in the background where there shan't be. Like it's not a lot, right? And then don't press live until complete. And then of course don't panic. And for anybody who knows don't panic, then you know don't panic. Yeah, simple.
Gotta have your towel.
Yeah, they go exactly. Wow, Katie, she knows.
Paula Marie has her has taken a screenshot of that for now, but she suggests that you should have that as a download. You should.
I
That
do
would
have
be
it
really
as a
fun, freaky download.
DocRock.live/
Doc is
checklist. First rodeo.
Hang on, I'm just pulling it up now.
Yeah, I do have it as a download. Yeah, and Paul said adding a checklist to the daily stream has been an absolute big help. Yeah, it's super simple. And your checklist might look different from mine. Yours might have take shots of vodka, do a little
Smile,
Mary Jane, like
breath.
whatever it is. It's your show, man. It's your show. So yeah, that's it. Here's a freelance question. Oh, let's get into the next question. But yeah, James, the answer is 100%. Do your SOP. Yours is going to be completely different. I would tell you one thing proper. And it took me a long time to figure this out. So I'm going to just say this. Nobody else's SOP is going to help you because yours is going to be completely different. And I just go down your list, what works, and as it changes, make updates. Like it's not going to be, it's a living document, right? Your standing operating procedure will change when you change machines or when Ecamm gets an update. So I probably got to update mine now because of dual mode, right? Make sure that we are streaming and recording in both vertical and horizontal, whatever. So yeah, anyway, let's check the next question.
Hey, I've got a question on the difference in bandwidth usage and stress on my computer's processor between bringing guests into a live stream via Zoom and having them log directly into my Ecamm green room, particularly if I'm going to have 3 or more guests on the screen simultaneously. Thanks for any help you can provide.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Doc and Katie.
Hold on, I'm skipping that. I did that backwards so that autoplays. Listen, here's a fantastic one. And Stan, thank you for your question.
Great question, Stan.
Nobody get me fired for what I'm about to tell you, okay? Because Doc will always keep it real with you. I want, get closer here, Katie. I want you to pretend that the interview mode doesn't exist. I just trust me. And it's not for any other reason that nobody has perfected is not the right word. Nobody has brought the bringing a guest situation better to Zoom. I mean, not even close. Like the other guys, they do what they do, and I get it. And people say, well, I don't want to pay 14, 15, whatever heck bucks a month for Zoom that it costs. You know what? I have a Zoom account for work. And Katie pays for that, but I still keep my regular Zoom account. I never get rid of it. And I probably don't even need it, but I still keep it because it's $15 a month and it just works. And if it's, trust me, nobody has figured it out the way Zoom has. So the interview mode is cool and all, but a couple of the other things that it brings to the table is you're having your guests use Chrome, and Chrome on a Mac just eats memory for no reason whatsoever. Google has had years to fix it. They just don't. And I don't know why. I don't even think they do it to be nefarious. They may have started the code base at a time where it's too late to go back and scrap it and start all over. I can tell you right now, if somebody told K&G to scrap Ecamm and start all over, they probably wouldn't. They'd probably be, all right, cool. Nice run, guys. We're going fishing. It's a lot of work. And so now I think they're just building upon what they've always built upon, and Chrome leaks. And because that uses Chrome as its primary function, it's even terrible on your other person's computer, not even yours. So if it's up to me, just from a nerd standpoint, everybody forgets the other version even exists.
It also offers additional, like we talk all the time about backups and backups and backups on backups. And the benefit I've found, particularly with using Ecamm for Zoom, is that Zoom is recording, Ecamm's recording, you have your ISOs, like you've got everything backed up too. And this is like super nerdy, but I've even found that when we're finished this show, I can go to Zoom and grab the transcript faster than anywhere else as well. So like it's just got a bunch of kind of additional benefits to it that are hidden. Paula Marie is asking a great question, and we are going to have more information on this coming soon. We have Andy from Zoom is going to come in and do a special live stream for the Ecamm fam. But Paula's asking, what about 1080p? So Zoom has recently, yesterday, announced that they now have an enhanced media add-on for all Zoom levels. And they've over the last, I think, year, they've made 1080 much more widely available and way more affordable, even for individual users. So it's in a lot more plans, and it's also easier than ever to add on for a pretty reasonable price the more than just 1080, all the additional kind of enhanced media options. So yes, it is an added cost, but it is much. You might already have it in your plan, depending on what plan you're on, and it is much more widely available and much more affordable than it used to be. So it used to be you had to like have it in you had to have one of the higher level accounts. You had to have a team account. You had to email Zoom and request access to it. They've made this process so much easier and so much more affordable. So more coming on that because I don't have the numbers in front of me right now. But yes, the 1080p is now more accessible to everyone. So we can celebrate that.
Let me do something really, really quickly against my better judgment. Because I do think that this is a good it's a good call up. You know, the Zoom Media the new Zoom Media add-on feature in and of itself is actually a pretty decent call up. And one thing I want to stress about sort of the 1080 mode is that in a way, when you're bringing a guest onto your scene, you're not using the full resolution, right? So as you look at Katie and I, even though I am capturing this recording in 4K, Katie's window is about 720 by 720. So like having all the 4K doesn't technically
so you don't need to worry as much about it.
Yeah, it doesn't technically do much. And I know that can kind of like throw people off. And I don't know what I just did to break the background, but that's okay. Here you go. Watch this real quick. So this is Andy over here on the Zoom, and this is what it looks like. And I'm just play this real fast. I don't know if he has noise. I'm not going to make it play the noise, but you can see the enhanced media mode looks a heck of a lot better. It's just really clean.
It's clean, and the movements are so much more smooth as well. So it's again, like, shout out to the Zoom team. I know, I get it. I get that it's an added expense. I get that there's a lot of, reasons why you may not want to, and that's fine. But they are best in class. They really have been working very, very hard to make video accessible and available to everyone, to be able to connect and bring people together in video, and to make it as high quality as they possibly can. So, anyway, that's my not. I don't work for Zoom, but that's my Zoom sales pitch for today.
Again, nobody does it better than Zoom, and it's one of those situations where, this is going to sound funny. People do this all the time. Everybody is, especially a lot of times the beginners, they want all of the high end stuff, but then they don't want to pay for it. And now the cost of everything is going up. And if we just started with electricity alone, things are going to get more expensive for your services. It's not the companies trying to hurt you. Their costs are going up. But you also add the fact that there's servers. I just bought a hard drive that I bought 3 months ago for $289. I just bought the exact same hard drive a week ago, $700.
Yeah.
300, 700. In a matter of literally 3 months. So if these costs and things are going up, it's going to happen. You just have to understand this is what's happening right now. And for a while, we're going to be stuck with it. And here's the funny thing. When prices go up and they realize that people are willing to pay for it, they normally don't bring it down because it goes by according to what the market will use. And since so many companies rely heavily on these services, a lot of services are going to go up. And so like you're just going to have to be willing to pay the cost to be the boss. And I hate to be the person to break the bad news to you, but this may happen. So I just want to be really clear about that. Go ahead.
I just want to add that it is a trade-off. So you can't have everything. You can absolutely continue to use Ecamm interview mode, which is included at the Ecamm Pro level and is no additional cost, right? But the trade-off is going to be that, as the question was, it is going to take more I'm going to use all the wrong words and Doc's going to correct me. It's going to take more resources, right? Because as Doc said, it's using Chrome, it's using Chromium. So it's a resource hog, right? So you probably are not going to get the same quality, even though, depending on what machine you have, depending on what kind of all of the different elements that go into it. So it's a trade-off. It's not like, there's lots of people who are using that tool and are seeing great results, but they're using that tool and seeing great results because they have a more powerful machine, because they have incredible internet connectivity, because all of these different reasons. So
it's going to come out somewhere. It's going to come out somewhere. You're going to pay for it in faster internet connection, higher end machine. You're also going to pay for it in the time and whatever it takes to produce your show. You're going to have to know a heck of a lot more about audio. You're going to have to know a heck of a lot more about how to solve Chrome problems when Chrome does what Chrome does. So the learning curve that you're getting is part of the free plan. Right, there's a really incredible thing out right now, similar to your Skylight. It's called Terminal, and the Terminal guys release the product as open source. And they say, here, you can buy ours for $130, or you can buy this plain screen, because everyone says you can go on Amazon and just buy the screen for $50. Cool. Here's the screen for $50. Here's a license to the software for $50. Knock yourself out. Here's how to do it. Here's the instructions. Here's the open code base. Here's the whole nine long. If you are a nerd, you get to save $30. Everybody else spend the extra $30 because we need to eat and just buy the device, plug it in, do your thing. Your calendar shows up. You need to know when you take your son to practice. And I love the fact that they did that, because people need to understand all these things that everyone wants to do for free. Somebody had to write this stuff. None of this is free. Even the apps that are free, they're probably doing something with your data to pay for it, because developers do eat. They're not exactly as weird as we think. They eat and they got kids and wives, so they got to pay bills too. So things do cost money. There's nothing free. If it's free, you're probably what they're selling. Just know that. So, fantastic question. Yes.
So the answer to Stan, then, it sounds like to me, is if you're trying to do more and you don't have the amount of resources on your machine to be able to handle that, then, as Doc was saying earlier, if you reduce your video quality for your guests down, so you can probably come in fine at 720 if you're bringing on a whole bunch of guests on screen anyway. So, thinking through some of those decisions is
he also said something about 4 people. If you put 4 people on screen, none of them are 4K, because you have to take the 4K and divide it by 4, and pixels are square, so it's not an even division, so they're 720. If you take 4K and divide it up, they're 720 apiece anyway. That's just math, right? So, and a quick follow-up question from PMD. She said, Chrome, Safari, Firefox. What's the mode? Well, for the interview mode, it has to be a Chromium browser, which is Chrome Firefox. In that case, I use Firefox. For your everyday browser, as an ex-Apple user, trust me, stick to Safari. Safari is the safest when it comes to letting your data leak out. And then Monique says, it sounds like if you want to do a show where the guests are coming in, but you're hitting, the answer is definitely Zoom. We did it that way for the longest time. That is exactly it. And
and both Ecamm for Zoom and Ecamm's interview mode are both included at the pro level of Ecamm. Yes. So you would need to have, for doing any of these kind of interviews, you have to have Ecamm Pro. And if you don't, the Ecamm customer support team will give you a free trial again on it. So if you're running on the standard version, you can just request it to get your trial reset, and then you can try all the pro level features. So that's always there for you if you need it.
Just absolutely amazing. I did see a question in here, and where did it go? Okay, real quick one. Taxi Talks wants to know, I tried to use Ecamm Vertical Cam on my WhatsApp, but was showing a black camera source. It would only show up in video. No, this is not normal, but then again, I have never used Ecamm as a video source in WhatsApp. Matter of fact, I never even used WhatsApp as a desktop app because I use it on the phone. I did have Line on my computer as a desktop app for the longest time. But the way that virtual camera works is virtual camera is replacement for the camera on your computer on whatever app that uses a camera. So if virtual camera shows up in QuickTime, it's going to show up everywhere else. If it doesn't show up in QuickTime, definitely reach out to support. That might be a situation that you have. And, because I'm going to get in trouble, let me do this real quick because she's going to be like, you need to show. Okay, I got you, PMD. We're going to go to desktop real quick. And under the file menu on QuickTime, you say new movie recording. and then a little window pops up, and then he shows up black, right? Because it's trying to pick up my Blackmagic camera, which can only be used in one app. But if I go Ecamm Live Virtual Cam, there's QuickTime. And then so anything that I do in Ecamm will show up in this window as well, right? So if it works in QuickTime, it works everywhere. If it doesn't work in that app, it's probably that app, because QuickTime is Mac OS, right? And contrary to popular belief, Ecamm does not read cameras any way, shape, or form. Ecamm lets the Mac read the cameras, and we read whatever the Mac reads. So if the Mac can see you, we can see you. If the Mac can't see you, we can't see you. Simple. We kept it that way, probably on purpose. I'm not going to try to get inside of Ken and Glenn's head, because it's probably strange in there. Don't tell them I said that. But yeah. Man,
Great
these are good questions. These people came through a mailbag today. Here. Just because, let me do this. Hey, play, dang it. Oh, you don't want to work today. Why? Okay, never mind. Never mind.
Hey, Doc and Katie, it's Lou. How are you? My question for you guys is, how do you rescue or basically make it better when you have a podcast guest who turns out to be kind of a wallflower, or just in the pre-interview they were great, but as soon as you go on the camera and start to do the podcast interview, it's not so great? Are there things you can do as a host to draw out that guest and try to salvage the interview? That's my question. I uploaded the wrong thing last time, so I'm going to upload this now, and thank you. Hey, Doc and Katie.
Oh my God.
I have a good answer for this one.
I was going to let you go first anyway, because my answer is not good.
I mean, I don't think that there's like a perfect one answer to this question, which it's a great question. I've definitely been in this position before. I would say, we talked about this, I think, a couple episodes ago, but I would be
hey, Doc
a little
and
bit
Katie, it's Lou. How are you?
I would be a little bit Harriet the Spy about it and look in their background or what they're wearing, or get some visual cues on things that they might like that have nothing to do with the interview topic. So like, say you have Doc on and he's here to talk about podcasting. I would look at, his is tricky because his background's dark, but I can see some Star Wars guys behind him. Do something that makes them feel at ease, because they're probably one word answering or wallflowering because they're nervous, or because they don't know the best way to answer the questions that you're asking them. So if you can get in a comfy space where the answers are really easy, you'd be able to pry out some more information. So if I was to say to Doc, like, oh, are you a Star Wars fan?
Yes.
Like, I know he can talk for the longest time, right?
So Katie is correct.
I would do that.
Katie's correct. But I just want you to hear what she did, though. She said, are you a Star Wars fan? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
This is a known quantity, fam. Don't ask close-ended questions. You ask the close-ended. I'm never going to do that. Trust me. I'm Virgo. It's not happening. But don't set yourself up for failure. If the person is wallflowering, nobody wants to hear this, but here it is. That's a you problem, cuz. I told you my answer was going to be me. If the person is wallflowering, that is 105% you. It's not them. It is you. And I get to say this, and I'm going to clip this part and show it to my sister-in-law. Because you know what she says to me? Every time I get Emma in the car, all she does is look at her phone. Really? When I pick her up from school, we got an hour conversation on the ride back home. She don't talk to me. Or maybe she just likes you better. Of course, I'm uncle, and I buy her cool stuff. No, it's because I don't ask her questions like, how was school?
How was school?
Good. Do you got any homework? Yes.
Yep.
Oh, how was the math test? That's you, dog. Chun, what's happening? All right, dude, what's the hot goss going on in school today? Oh my God, Unks. Emily, this girl, let me tell you what she did. I'm just like, why did I ask that question? Jesus Christ, girl, shut up. That's a you. Parents do that to their kids. How was school today? That's a dumb question to ask a kid. Okay? You ask them, what was the most interesting thing you learned at school today? Which one of those teachers made you want to slap the out of them? Because no parent asked their kid that. But if you ask your kid for sure, your kid has a teacher that they just want, but no violence, of course. But you want your kids have a teacher that they can't stand. So talk about that, right? Ask them, what the hot gossip is. Like, ask them, okay, who in school is doing something that I would not be proud of you if you did it? They can't wait to snitch. Don't trust me. I'm sorry, and nobody wants to hear that, but ask better questions. There's thousands of books on better questions. And so to Katie, I would say, what is the most interesting piece of advice that you got in the last 4 or 5 months?
I hate these questions. My memory is so terrible. It's a good question, Doc. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what the most valuable.
You know what I'm saying?
So much.
It's crazy. It's all right. So that's something that's been happening to me too. Oh my God. Like, I just realized as I'm rounding this next number, my memory is going to shot. Have you been doing anything to kind of work on your memory?
That's a good way to pull on the threads. I like it.
I mean, fam, like, it's out there. Everybody puts a piece of something out there. And so, instance, let's go back to this question real quick. And I don't know the answer, right? So how about this? Taxi Talks. How about this? Why? That's an interesting use case. What are you using WhatsApp for to do a video show? I have, of the many things that we've done here in Ecamm, I have never heard a single customer ask us about WhatsApp. So I'm curious, what are you doing with WhatsApp?
Yeah.
We love to know all of the cool things that people do with Ecamm that we don't know Ecamm can do.
Yeah.
Like, in my list of apps that people use Ecamm for, WhatsApp was not on the bingo card. So again, you can pull a thread out of anything. Anything that anybody says, you can pull a thread. MC, alternatively, you could put this as an image overlay. Fam, I've had this as an Ecamm scene for like 3 years. I had once never thought to just screenshot it, because guess what's easier on the computer? The screenshot. Thanks, MC.
Marianne,
you could pull any thread. So, don't be mad at me, Lou. But if you got that, that's a you problem, dog. I'm sorry. I hate to be the one to bring the bad news, but that is definitely the host problem. There's a bunch of books on Ask Better Questions. And there you go. Phil in the building. WhatsApp does not allow virtual cameras. Bingo, bango, pickle,
sad
mango.
face. Now we know.
Even though it looks like it does. See, Phil came through for the rescue.
That's the worst.
Come through for the rescue. Here's a good start. If you have this problem, go get Matt's book. How about that? Thank you. MC is coming through with the hot ones. Tell me about a time.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite easy ways, right? And I was like, Katie, I know you just took the fam skiing recently. And I have this question that I'm dying to know. Snowboarding got popular about the time I was either too busy to go snowboarding or my knees weren't, snowboard capable. And I've still always said skiing is better than snowboarding. Have you done both yet? And if so, why do you like one more than the other? Like, easy strings to pull, right? Because that's a fight that just goes on in infinity. And like, how the heck did you guys come up with toque for a beanie? What the heck is a toque? It sounds like what?
What the heck is a beanie? Yeah. It's a stupid word.
I have no idea why they came up with beanie. I like toque better. It sounds better. And it is probably a First Nations word, because there is such thing as the Inupiats and the Inuits, and that sounds like something
you're pulling the next question. I'm going to look up the word too.
Language. There's a question from, actually, let me put this on I can't do that right now. Let me do this here on this particular scene. And
it's 15th century French.
Oh, there we go. Is there a reason placeholder overlays for comments won't override or replace the current settings from our previous comments? It only works on editing previous live comments. No, that's not correct. If you put a placeholder comment, that becomes the style. And
going forward, it doesn't apply to past ones.
Yes.
So if you click on like a saved, I've had this happen to me before. So if I'm understanding if you click on like a saved overlay, because you're in the same profile over and over again, that is a past comment, the placeholder comment doesn't, those settings don't override something that's happened in the past. They're only for the future comments.
And now we got the answer to the question. So I do interviews on WhatsApp since everyone uses WhatsApp and the data is cheaper and free. Bingo. Now we know. But we did just find out that WhatsApp doesn't allow virtual cameras. So phenomenal.
You can't take eCam with you in there.
Now we know the answer. And I was curious. I just needed to know. Inquiring minds wanted to know.
Curiosity. That was the theme of this month.
Yeah,
curiosity makes better interviews.
Thank you for updating. Yep. And I do understand that, I used to use Line as a way to talk to all my friends in Japan, because that's just the Japan and Korea. They love Line. And then when I was in China, it was WeChat and WhatsApp. And then once WhatsApp got picked up by Meta, it just became like the dominant thing. WhatsApp is phenomenal for a whole bunch of things. I just never thought about using it for an interview. And now we know. That is phenomenal. Now I want to go and try and play with it. All right, next question. Here we go.
Hey guys, it's Matt again. And yeah, I've got a lot of questions this month just because interviewing is kind of where I live and I love hearing more about how other people do things. So both of you guys have talked about studying interviewers to improve your own work. And I do this all the time. For example, I really like Sean Evans on Hot Ones and how he does his research and asks his questions. What's something specific that you picked up from watching someone else that changed how you actually conduct your interviews? Thanks.
Listen, first of all, bald-headed, bearded guy named Sean. What do you want? Of course he's good.
Oh,
that was good.
I like it.
That was good,
That's
Matt.
a good question.
All right, Katie, you go first while I switch the question.
I'm actually a failure at this, Matt. So I don't do
Hey guys, it's Matt again. And yeah, I've got a lot.
Is it?
I don't do a lot of
doing
interviews,
something weird
when
I do that, Katie?
Yeah, it's playing it out loud.
Oh, well, to you, but not to them. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Sorry
for messing your head up. Let me put this. Okay, I won't do that anymore. I was wondering why Katie always got stuck in that one part. Yay!
Derailed. I don't listen to a lot of interviews, and I don't do a ton of interviews myself. So I actually don't have a great answer. I tend to listen and watch a bunch of podcasts that are conversational co-hosty shows. And so that is sort of the space that I live in when I think about what interviews I want to do. I try to keep them really, really conversational. And I'm trying to think. I can't think of, I don't. I used to listen to Armchair Expert all the time. And I really liked for a while what Dax Shepard was doing there. But then I hit a point where I just found him to be pretentious and kind of obnoxious. So I pieced out of that show. I can't think of another interview show that I listen to regularly. Here and there. Doc, I know, does all the time.
I think
so. I don't practice when I preach. Sorry.
And you know what? You have time constraints that the rest of us don't have. I think it's really funny that you say that about Dax Shepard, because I think that is the oddest couple in the whole of Hollywood. Because to me, KB is one of the most interesting people in the world, and Dax Shepard I can't listen to for more than 2.5 seconds. All the way back from the very beginning, I just how did you guys become a couple? I just don't get it. She is super interesting, super talented, sing, dance, the whole 9 yards. I don't know how that happened, but you know what? They have survived very long for Hollywood standards. So very interesting. Anyway, I agree with you. I can't, everybody heard my little weird thing. I can't for 2 seconds listen to that, but Matt, to me, I don't really purposefully pick up stuff that other people do. I just am always interested by questioning. I am sure accidentally I pick up things. You know what I mean? But I'm not sitting there going, I'm going to listen to this interview for the sake of listening to an interview. But it's funny because when I teach interview class, I tell people they should listen to other interviewers. Which now that I'm saying it out loud is very...
Yeah, we're both shams.
It's very weird, right?
Frauds. Yeah.
But I think what happens is you cannot help... If you watch Food Network, right? You can't help but automatically cook better. You're going to find some things that you didn't know were things that are just things, but you've always done it. You've done it a particular way. Here's one. that I picked up not that long ago that blows my mind, and it absolutely changes the game. And it's so simple. I actually spent money on a device from Amazon to put your tofu in and squeeze all of the water out. Because if you squeeze all of the water out, then there's space for when you put the tofu in the sauce for the sauce to go into the tofu so it doesn't taste bland, right? Come to find out, American. Because in Asia, where most people eat tofu, and then one of the best tofu in the world happens to come from Karen's dad's hometown. And it's something about, they use ocean water to do the coagulation. And it's something about some of the best tofu in the world calls a grip. And it literally comes from their hometown. Everybody in their hometown has the same last name as her, strangely enough. Not related. It's just one of those old school things in the old world where you were named after where you are. Anyway, you boil it in salt water for 2 or 3 minutes and osmosis pulls all the water out. How does that make sense? You put it in the boiling water and the boiling water actually pulls the water out. Salt, that's why. And so now when you marinate it in something, it tastes way better. You know what I'm saying? So in the same way, I watch plenty interviews. I am sure I osmosisly pick up tons of techniques, but I'm not sitting there with a notebook trying to figure out what they are. And I have seen every freaking second of Hot Ones. So
Yep.
I had probably done 1,000 interviews before that show came on, and Matt said we are frauds. He said absolute frauds.
No, but I think I'm glad that you answered that way, Doc. I totally thought you were going to give a bunch of examples because I know you do listen to a lot more than I do. But I think your answer is exactly what similar to my answer in that you pick up things from the conversations and the content, whether that's a show or even in real life, and that becomes sort of your technique and gets added in, whether it's overt or not. So I think I've been listening. Okay, I'm going to give this as an example. It's not necessarily interviewing, but I listened to this show called Obituary, which I'm obsessed with.
It's a good show.
Not for everyone.
It's a good show.
Not for everyone. Be really clear. But the hosts of that do a show called Obituary together, and then one of the co-hosts does his own show by himself. That is fabulous. And then they just started this like second/third show together that is all about gossips and it's like a conversational chatting about kind of pop culture and life show. And because they had access to every conceivable thing similar to Doc and I, they ended up doing it as this like highly produced audiobook style show where they pre-recorded everything. They built this entire like 8-part season. They like released it. It literally sounded like you were listening to like an audiobook. And everyone hated the show. All of their fans who like immediately went over to like listen to the show because they loved all their other content, hated the show. And so they've just they've like completely redid everything and are now doing their gossip show the same way that they do all of their other shows in kind of a conversational format. And I say that not because it has anything to do with interviews, but because that resonated with me so deeply in a show that I just listened to for fun. Like I intentionally listened to this show just as a way to unplug and not think about work and not think about it's a for fun show. But I tofu sponge picked up that point from that show, and I still thinking about it, like how brilliant that these two creators knew enough to be like, hey, we spent probably a fortune, a ton of time. They like rented out a studio space. They hired this whole editing team to produce the show. Someone else could have seen this as a failure. And they were smart enough and driven enough to say, no, it's not a failure. It's just not what our audience wanted. So we're going to redo it in the way that is beneficial to our audience. And I picked up that pro tip from them. So I do think that I am spongy in that even if it's content that actually has nothing to do with interviews, I am always to some level listening for what about this resonated to me as a fan or a community member of this show. How can I take that theory or tactic or technique into what I'm doing for Ecamm, into what I'm doing for my own personal shows? So I'm not afraid. All that to say, Matt, that I feel way better about myself now. So thank you for that full circle moment. I do listen to way more than I think. I just don't in depth sit and like listen to and watch interview shows. But also because that's not really what I'm doing on a regular basis. I do interviews here.
I do listen to them on a regular basis, but yeah, super funny. Now, George, if I ruined this, please let me know. However, there is a technique invented by a person by the name of Sanke Ahrens. And if you haven't heard about it, spend a couple seconds to go and look for this up. And I'm about to say something in German, and I hope I don't screw this up. Katie, what you just described to me is something that we in the nerd world called a Zettelkasten. Zettelkasten is a card box, right? Everybody's parents had one. It's a wooden box. It has all the little recipes in it, right? Scholarly people would read a paper and then they would write a Zettelkasten note that what did this paper resonate with me? How did this resonate? So if you actually take the time for the YouTube videos that you watch the flow, you picked up a bunch of stuff, you got some killer advice coming from PMD about follow-up questions, which I think are absolutely phenomenal, right? And one of them actually resonated with me. So at some point today, I go to my verbal version of a Zettelkasten and I open up Whisper Flow, and I will answer the question. I'll say, PMD said, what's something you believe most people in your field would strongly disagree with, right? And then what's the worst advice you've ever followed? I could answer both of those because they both resonate with me. And for me, it's one that I still fight with. I can't stand analytics. And everyone says, well, the data is important. And I'm a data person, but the analytics make you react to things that help you out instead of reacting to things that help your audience or your community out. So you'll be making changes, trying to go viral. How does you going viral help your community? Answer that question, somebody. Like, to me, I don't think it does. And I could be wrong, and I'm more than happy to be wrong. But like, I could have an entire 5-minute dissertation with myself to unpack that question because it is a good question. And that question does resonate with me. So if you get in the habit of when you watch a movie, read a book, read something interesting, go to one of these things where all you guys be in the comments talking about, oh, that was fire, that was fire, that was fire. If I ask you next week, what did you pick up from that show? You have no freaking clue. And the reason why is because you don't take time to do the Zettelkasten method. So
I love that.
It is a fantastic book. It is called Take Better Notes, something like that. And it's written by Sanke Ahrens. And it's about the Zettelkasten. If you don't learn anything today, go and read a couple things, watch a couple YouTube videos, get yourself up on the Zettelkasten method. It is probably better if you write them. Recently, I do write things in my journal, but I've been doing a lot of it just with my notes. And, on the way walking from here back to the house, because I got to go upstairs to finish my coffee and protein, I would just say what I picked up on the show today as I'm walking and then get myself ready for Creators Unstuck, me and Lou, right? So I just walk and I'll just say what I got to say. And so it also helps me because Katie makes me write these reports on Fridays. I don't know what the hell I did all week. So I just been doing it Zettelkasten
That's why you got to do it as you go.
Yeah, so
exactly.
You just, as soon as you're done, like, why did this resonate? Why was that called fire? Benji says some random gym in our calls. Trust me, he does. Me and Katie are both like when you're done, finished having a meeting on Zoom with Benji, you want to have a cigarette. It's that good. Yeah. So yeah, do the Zettelkasten method. It will help you. All right, let me squeeze in one more quick one.
Thank you, Rich. Rich is writing it down. I'm like, I gotta. Thank you, Rich. Rich has got the spelling for all of us, so we can.
Thank you. Zettelkasten. Like I was hoping George would correct my German, but maybe since he didn't, I did it okay.
All right, next question. The conversation that you have with your guest before you start recording oftentimes sets the tone for the whole interview. And I think hosts dramatically underestimate it. I have to do something similar with all my clients before I start taking their portraits so that I can set an expectation of what's going to happen so they don't freeze up in front of the camera. Is there anything that you do in particular in that pre-interview stage that you found changed the quality of what gets recorded?
Ooh. Fire. Matt asks crazy questions. No, that was a good question. Man, this is difficult. And for everybody, including us, to everybody to have those. There you go, Rich. I went to go get it because in case everybody was going to say, what is it? It's how to take better notes with Sanke Aarons. Thank you, Rich, for doing that. I appreciate you. The pre-show, to me, I try to get the tech stuff handled. And when they start trying to go into story mode, I try to stop them. And I myself have had hosts try to stop us from going too far in that, because you're going to lose it all for the show. The best thing is the excitement and the curiosity. And so the number one thing I say when I teach interviewing is to prepare, but not prepare. PMD is making me laugh. Matt, PMD says you're not hot.
You're not hot.
I'm sorry.
That's important.
Dang it. Paula, you just broke me. Just made me die.
Oh, sorry, Paula. I couldn't.
Matt
Matt
definitely has a voice for radio, a face for radio. There we go. So it is definitely. Thank you. Wait, listen. Sorry. Pause for the cause. Zettelkasten. Nichts verstanden in Deutsch. I did it. Thank you, George.
Now we can drop the fire.
Now we can drop the fire emoji. Yes, you didn't want to be one of those. I have lots of swear words in German. I won't say any of them. My three best friends are
planned
German
but
dudes.
unplanned.
Yeah, planned but unplanned. And I love this question.
Unplanned.
It's a phenomenal question, but I do try so hard not to go too deep then, because I like the element of surprise. I like when someone says something to the host and the host just like they just got rocked. I love those.
Yeah.
Same thing with the guest. When the host asks the guest the question and the guest just gets rocked, I love those. And I was watching a very long interview with MKBHD. And one of the things that I liked about this interview is I never really admire MKBHD because of his numbers. The numbers are easy. I know that's a weird thing to say, but the numbers are easy thing. There's a lot of things that you could do to increase numbers. I have a newfound respect for him because of his resolve of the craft, right? Somebody said to you, why did you go out and buy a, $300,000 robot camera? And he said, simple, real answer, because nobody else was going to. That was the standout. And that's the thing I try to tell people all the time. Well, I want my show to be unique, and I want to do this and this. Okay, do you really want to, or do you say you want to? Because if you really want to, it can be done. It's going to cost you X. Oh, I don't want to spend that much. Close your mouth. Don't say things that you're not ready to pay for. Do I want a Countach? Yes. Would I like a Hurock? Absolutely. Am I going to buy one? No. I have better things to do with $450,000. But I'm realistic about it, right? And unfortunately, people want all these things, and I really want it. And, so they asked him a question about if Netflix came to you and offered you to do a show like everybody else, would you do it? And he's like, no. He's like, don't bother. He goes, they send me all the time. They reach out to me. These companies reach out to me and ask me to be, leave YouTube and go do this. And I'm like, don't bother. And I was like, I fell in love with that answer. Because he doesn't see running off to the shiny thing, because he goes, I don't think that would be good for my audience, number one. And
it's got purpose.
These guys, these platforms need us. We don't need them. We got YouTube, and YouTube has been, there's levels of loyalty to that where I'm watching his contemporaries make cash grabs. And unlike me, he did not blaspheme them for going to Amazon or going to Netflix or going to some of these other platforms. He just said he wouldn't do it. And I appreciate that. Me, I would have been like, nah, Jimmy's a sellout. I would have said it. Sorry, Jimmy. I would have just said it. So thank you, George. When I see you next month, we're going to get down with some German cursing.
Not on this show, George. Not on this show.
George, keep it on tag, George.
I know we're almost out of time, but I would say what I do in this instance, Matt, is I actually try to keep it. I hesitate to use the word small talk, but I try to keep it as small talky as possible. So I really want them to feel welcomed into the space, like it's going to be a really fun experience, like it's going to be a really like it's just that a moment where they're meeting friends. So I want to ask them questions and chat with them in that pre-show time to get them into a state of mind where they're really excited to just have a conversation with me. So even if it starts with something as simple as like these days it's been the weather, which I know is a mundane, ridiculous topic, but the weather is wild right now.
Oh, tell me.
There's some crazy kind of fun ways to like chat about something that's small talky and boring, quote unquote, in an exciting way that isn't going to steal from the content of the show later, but get them ready to just delight and excite me, my reactions to what they're saying in those moments, just setting the tone for this is going to be a really fun, low risk experience, and you can be yourself and you can be honest and you can be bubbly and fun here in this space with me, and then we're going to shift into that interview. So I care less actually about whether or not some of those questions get answered earlier. I just might ask a deeper or alternate version of that question to get a different answer. Like that's fine if that comes out in the pre-show space. That's okay. That's just going to shift how I'm going to ask questions in the actual interview. I'd rather it come out there and they feel comfortable and excited to be on the show than not. Like I don't want to sit there and I don't want to be like run of show, to bring this back to the very beginning. I don't want to be SOP with them at the beginning. Like I don't want to be very like, okay, we're going to test your microphone. This is what the show is going to be like. This is what you can expect. This is like, I don't want to be very dictating at them at that moment. I'd rather send that in an email earlier or have like a PDF or something for that. I want it to feel like we're kicking off a conversation and they don't even know really necessarily when the show actually starts because we're just already having such a great conversation and we're diving in. It's a fun, safe space.
Yeah, I like that. So I just want to say in closing, I think that's really incredible. And one thing that I think is really cool is if you can and you get buy-in from your people, maybe put it in your reports, record your pre-show and record your after show. Because for instance, we definitely don't have time today because Kate and I have things to do. We have big stuff happening this week, but I got a bunch more questions from Matt, got a bunch more questions from George. So with your guys' permission, I'd like to answer them, but I'm just going to answer them as videos that we leak out to the community over the next couple of right? Because they're phenomenal things. So if you're doing an interview, Matt, and say you don't get to where you're going, ask the person, hey, I know we just finished this, but can I ask you a couple more? And I'll just release these as bonus answers. Then we can use them for our social media to help, elevate your spotlight and then give our people a little bit extra for hanging out with us today, kind of as a thank you. Okay, Matt said, go for it. And then, George, you're getting it whether you like it or not, because I'm going to see you next month anyway. So, and I have to...
You already submitted these.
I have to mule illicit substances across, and don't get caught by customs. No, I'm joking. The other one that I think is very, very dope is if you record your pre and after... there's some things that just happens pre-show that are always good. And a lot of times you get to bring them up in the show. And I watched this happen a couple times in the Marquez interview with Yashai. And we're talking about this pre-show, but I'm going to bring it up because it was really cool. Or they, do some callbacks. Or he saw some interviews where somebody else was saying something nice about Katie. And then he played it for... like Katie live and to get her reaction to what, say George or Matt said about Katie. Phenomenal type thing. So I keep that in mind. If you can, you get permission, you get buy-in, record your pre-show, record your after show. And then if they're time constrained, me personally, I'm going to be like, if you got a hard out, we ain't doing this show. That's just how I do it. But if they do, for some reason, I want to record a follow-up with you, and I'm just going to ask you these questions, and when we just release it as a bonus episode for the community or whatever, and of course, you have full permission to chop these up and share them on your socials anyway, which is cool now because YouTube, Instagram, everybody has collab modes, so you can share this out. So that's the way that I would handle that. Dude, Mailbag episode number 2, off the chain. I have so many questions left. So I can't wait.
I have all the questions.
Get in there and get them done. And thank you guys for putting up with my crazy tech. I have no idea because in preview mode, you weren't supposed to hear that, but it could be the way I have my Rodecaster configured. Who cares? I'll just fix it.
I'm glad we figured that out because I was like, does Doc not hear this?
Nope. Because I have the USB muted on purpose so that you don't hear twice. And so when I have it muted, then I don't hear it either. So it's just, man, super funny and whatever. But, you know, the show must go on. And this is like, I want you guys to see, even people who think we know how to do all this stuff, we don't have no freaking clue. And you know what? Nobody left because they heard that audio twice. And it was only for a split second.
I was about to.
Everybody, except Katie, which would have been really weird. Then I would have just had to come over here and be like, well, Katie ran away, guys. So just know, as long as everyone's having fun, and you guys in the chat, phenomenal today, right? You guys came through. I have so much respect for the Flow Riders for A, following instructions and getting the questions in, for B, putting in really good questions. Like Matt has a bunch. God, if you guys saw all of Matt's psycho questions,
every question was amazing.
They were all phenomenal. Yeah. James was hilarious, which I absolutely love. And James interviewed Katie, which I can't wait to see. So thank you guys. Like, this is why we do this show, because we want to make sure that you guys are getting something dope out of this. And please, by all means, go to Amazon and get yourself one of these. I'll put the link in while the show, is playing at the end, or I'll put it in the show notes. But this book is really good. You can probably just YouTube the video, and Rich told you how to spell it, and George taught us how to say it. So
we are all learning. That's your one thing to write down that you learned today.
Put like ZETTLEKASTEN. That's it. I think that's how you spell it.
Wait, before we jump off, I know we're in a rush, but Paul just reminded me. So March, as we said earlier in a few previous episodes, has 5 weeks instead of 4. So how that's going to work for this month is next week, March 31st, last day of the month, is actually a big, super awesome day for us at Ecamm. Surprise, 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 surprise coming. So Doc is going to host with Mr. Moderator Paul a special Zoom session for the Flow Riders. We will email you all a Zoom link. It's on the calendar. We're all ready to go. So same time, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We're going to do a Zoom, not a live stream, a Zoom with Doc and Paul, and we're just going to practice everything together. So it's an open forum for questions, practicing, seeing how the tech works, everything in the world of interviews. I won't be there because Ken and Glenn also have a huge live reveal and Q&A coming up at 2 p.m., so 2 hours after that. So keep your eyes posted. March 31st is a big day for us here at Ecamm. So interview practice for all of the Flow Riders, and then big announcements in general for everyone at Ecamm. So we're finishing off this month strong. It's going to be an exciting time all the way through. But week 5 coming to you hot.
Hey, who the heck put 5 weeks in the month?
I know. It's all right. We're taking every advantage of week 5. Yeah.
The way that I figured out that the end of the year was Jason D. Once I learned that, it was like 7th grade. It was a running joke. You guys are fair. July, August, October, November. You get it? Jason D. Anyway. Thank you guys so much. This has been a heck of a lot of fun. I can't wait to come back in. And it's very important that we remind you, if you haven't done so already, go over to flow.ecamm.com. That's FLOW.ECA2Ms.com and get anything to us. Subscribe to the podcast, leave us feedback. We do have the checklist. If you want to get in for your next month's mailbag, is ecamm.tv/mailbag. That's ecamm.tv/mailbag. Thank you, Caleb, for making that a heck of a lot easier. And then, we say around here, Flow Riders out.